It's day 2 of the men's lacrosse NCAA tournament, and we couldn't have asked for a whole lot more yesterday. A couple of thrillers, an entertaining nightcap in which the reigning champs won on the road. And now today we start in College Park, where the undisputed #1 team in the country, the undefeated Maryland Terrapins, host the Vermont Catamounts, who meet in the upper part of the bracket, and the winner will get the back-to-back reigning national champions, Virginia, next weekend. With that, we say hello and thanks for joining us. Jules, Heningburg, Mike Monaco with you, and we get a look at this Maryland dominant team that, look, they've been playing for 3 months. They've trailed for a half hour of game action, and they've got one of the best players in the country, Logan Wisnauskas.
Yeah, Logan Wisnauskas, to me, is the front runner for the 𝗏𝗏ton right now. The Maryland all-time leading point scorer. The biggest thing he does well, he rarely makes the wrong decision. He's got strong lefty tendencies. He can shoot it on the run. As you see here, he's a step-down shooter as well. He does a great job getting his teammates involved, and he's an egoless superstar, and that's what this Maryland offense is all about, and he really drives that engine.
Yeah, and he has driven this Maryland team to a 14-0 mark, and they get a rematch of last year's NCAA tournament first-round game, and Thomas McConvey for Vermont is the superstar. He's now a senior, 60 goals this year.
Yeah, the Canadian lefty, the American East player, the offensive player of the year. He's a man amongst boys, as coach said to us. Get this, in his last 6 games, 32 goals on 60% shooting, not as an attacker, as a midfielder.
Yeah. Special stuff from Thomas McConvey. That delights his head coach, Chris Fikes, who has taken this program now to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. Vermont is a program, first 43 years of existence, never been to the NCAA tournament. And they go up against John Tillman, who's got this Maryland program humming year after year. Well, it is a warm one. Beautiful day here in the middle of May on a Sunday afternoon to get 4 games on ESPNU started. We had one of the thrillers yesterday, and then we drove down from Philly. We were watching Yale St. Joe's in the car down here to College Park. Brown, Virginia was a ton of fun as well. Great weekend.
Boys love it, and there's nothing better than NCAA tournament lacrosse.
Well, the Face-Off X is a powerhouse matchup. On the left, Tommy Burke, 3 in green, junior from Florida. On the right, Luke Weirman. They're both top 4 in the country in face-off percentage. Vermont arrives at 12-6. Won the America East automatic qualifying bid. They have won 10 games in a row, and they go up against Maryland. First face-off. Off a scramble, Weirman collects. In the meeting last year, in the first round of the NCAA tournament that Maryland won on their trip to championship weekend, it was only Burke against Weirman 4 times. It was mostly Justin Shockey in that one.
Yeah, and as Maryland gets settled in here, they want to keep it simple. They want to play Maryland lacrosse, hit singles, play within yourselves, play eagles.
It's the best offense in the country in terms of pretty much all the metrics, including adjusted offensive efficiency, according to Lacrosse Reference, and it's Wisnauskas to start the score.
And I know you mentioned adjusted offensive efficiency. They're shooting 40% as a team right now. That's outrageous. And it starts with Logan Wisnauskas, who we just highlighted. He's an underrated athlete. He's showcasing his change of direction there, getting up the hash to his strong lefty tendencies, and just simple, over the top, bearing it low and away. That's why he's the best, one of the best, if not the best player in the country.
And you said front runner in your mind for 𝗏𝗏ton.
Absolutely the front runner.
49th of the season for the 6th-year senior. Chrome tabbed earlier this week.
Some people were shocked about that.
And he starts the scoring 45 seconds in here at Maryland Stadium. When we talked with Chris Fikes, he said the big keys on our side of things, it starts with possession. We just got to have it more. And then when they get it offensively, they want to slow things down. They have played at a low-tempo offensively all season, and even more important, against Maryland and its explosive crew. They strip Weirman off the faceoff and then thrown away by Nick Alvini. Great stick there by the Maryland pole, John Gebert. Get a look at Ryan Cornell, America East Defensive Player of the Year, fifth-year senior from Darien, Connecticut. Top 10 in the country in save percentage and goals against, and it's a very good statistically Vermont defense.
And that play right there, just off the face-off X, that's what Vermont can't have happen today, where they get possession and then just turn it over ever so slightly and give Maryland another opportunity to get things going.
Chris Fife said last year in this meeting, first round, it was uncharacteristic turnovers that really cost them. In totality in that game, they had more than 20 giveaways. Eric Malever, the sophomore, takes it to X, and Malever makes it 2-0.
Eric Malever, a budding superstar for the Maryland Terrapins, matched up on a short stick. That's a tough matchup for them, showcasing his dynamic athleticism and low-angle finishing around the cage. Watch right here as he extends his arms, sneaks that past the Vermont goaltender. To me, he's the future of Maryland lacrosse.
And you know what that looks like to know who's coming next for Maryland. When you were a senior, you played a freshman in Jared Bernhardt.
And I watched Jared Bernhardt running around the field. I said, who is that kid? He's a freshman. Fast forward 4 or 5 years, and he's Maryland's one of, if not the best all time.
Well, one way or another, Maryland has come up with all 3 possessions here off the faceoff to start this game. This offense is lethal. So many weapons, exquisite passing, and as you talked about when we chatted with John Tillman this week, it's egoless lacrosse. A stop by Cornell on the Keegan bid, and now a ground ball picked up by Vermont. Well done by Jackson Canfield, one of their stars defensively, 27 in green. Take a look at Logan McNaney. He has been steady. He has ice in his veins, is what John Tillman said to us this week.
As Vermont gets settled in here, they want to play in the 6-on-6. They don't think they do a great job in the middle of the field. They want to slow things down, get everyone involved, and get great shots versus Maryland.
We told you about 44, McConvey. This is 46, Liam Limoges trying to go short side on McNaney. And the ground ball picked up by Bubba Fairman. If it's a lower possession game, shot quality has to be tremendous for Vermont.
Absolutely, and it always does versus Maryland. You have to take care of the opportunities that you do have because you're rarely going to get them, especially with a guy like Luke Wehrman at the X.
When they played last year in the NCAA tournament, it was a 17-11 Maryland win, but it was tied late first quarter, and Vermont got within 3 in the third quarter as well. The first 2 here today to the Terps. Con from X draws help. Will Jones slid over. And now the Cornell transfer, John Donville. At GLE, spinning away from Jones, back up top. 25 to shoot. Tough angle shot got swallowed up on the way in toward Cornell, and Canfield another ground ball.
Let's see if Vermont can get settled in here, get comfortable, get the Maryland defense moving a little bit, get McConvey involved.
There he is, 44 in green, goes back up top for Griffin Fennick. Vermont 12-6, won the America East tournament for the second consecutive year. They took down Albany and then UMBC in a couple of close games. The play-in game on Wednesday against Manhattan convincingly up in Vermont. From X, and Vermont is on the board. Liam Limoges strikes first for the Catamounts.
Limoges just keeps it simple. Up the hash shooting. Shows a little bit of a bounce move here, right to right. Catches him off guard just there. And again, similar to what we saw with Malever, getting up the hash, extending around your defenseman, and finishing it. That's a really important goal for Vermont to get settled in here.
Grad student attackman from Toronto, a fifth-year starter, and one of the captains on this team with a career high now, 32 goals this season. First violation on either side, and it's on Vermont. And so all 4 faceoffs have been controlled by Maryland. This Maryland team last in action against Rutgers, winning the Big Ten tournament. Took down Hopkins as well in the semifinals. Wisnauskas draws the assignment from Canfield, scoops it back up. Jack Koras was more aggressive in that Big Ten tournament. He and Jack Brennan, a couple of Terps midfielders. On a step down, it's Murphy. Owen Murphy with a howitzer.
Sliding adjacent for Vermont here. Obviously, that's a great step-down shot by Owen Murphy, but that's just too easy for the Maryland offense. As the defenseman hedges off of Murphy down, he's wide open to get that electric shot. But you got to be careful if you're Vermont sliding adjacent like that. It's just going to be too easy all day for Maryland.
The man who was tasked with grabbing the crustacean after that win over Hopkins in the regular season, he got to go pick it up against his old program. So 3-1 our score. Maryland on top by 2. 9 to go in this opening quarter. DeMaio runs on for Maryland, 16 in white. And a guy you were happy to see where he landed.
A free agent in the player pool. The Redwoods picked him up, excited to get to camp with him coming soon.
Cornell picked up the ground ball off the Maryland turnover. Cornell will be aggressive coming out of the crease. Now Vermont sets up shop again. McConvey comes out of the box. It's Ray Hill on Limoges. Fennick picks up speed inside the restraining line. Haley is one to watch as well. 11 in green, tied for third on the team in points. First team all conference. And now swung around to the outside. Michael McCormack. Off a screen from X.
We want to see Vermont attack the short six on Maryland. I wouldn't want to get the offense really generated from their pulls. They're really, really fundamentally sound and hard to get around on that first go.
Dropping no better group of short sticks in the country than what Maryland's got. Shot clock below 10, and a big stop McNaney on Brock Haley.
Those are the opportunities Vermont wants, but McNaney got a steal there. Haley.
Haley applied pressure in the ride. Maryland clears. It's 𝗍𝗶𝗀𝘀𝘀𝗀 passing it off. Wisnauskas moved it for Con. And a strip by Vermont. Picked up off the carpet there, and very well done by Ty Woolston. Should say Nick Alvini poked it free. The excellent pull for Vermont. A couple of turnovers from Maryland these last few possessions. And Chris Pipes will take a timeout. Vermont tried to cut it to 1, but Logan McNaney with other ideas, Jules.
Logan McNaney on the crease. Great opportunity by Vermont. That's what they want. We'll see if they can get another one when they come out of the break. And everyone's talking about the ACC. Virginia, they looked really, really good yesterday. I felt like they were a team coming to the tournament. Maybe they're a little bit banged up. They had some time off. Connor Schellenberger, he wants everyone to know, I'm still here. I'm looking for a tour time with 8 points last night.
In the shoulder. Looked all right for Shelley. 17 days after their regular season finale against Lafayette. A lot of guys, as you said, were dinged up. And in a great atmosphere last night in our nightcap That did not disappoint. And Virginia stormed back. Hill pried it free from Limoges. And Maryland speeds forward. They are so dangerous in transition. Smith gives it off. Vermont's been able to force 3 Maryland turnovers. So despite the big face-off edge to Luke Learman over Tommy Burke so far, Vermont able to withstand that. DeMaio decided in January that he would return. He's back home in California in the fall. Part of a loaded midfield for the Terps. Wisnauskas stopped by Cornell. And off the ricochet, it belongs to Vermont.
Yeah, Coach was telling us, Coach Tillman, that he wasn't sure if DeMaio or Fairman were going to come back, but he had to reload.
Offsides, 30-second technical foul.
He had to reload regardless. Comes in Donville, comes in Keegan, and now they have a plethora of talent to really work with on the offensive side.
We saw the offside whistle go against Vermont. So Maryland will go man up here, ahead by 2. With about 5.5 to go in the first. Good problem to have, right? You're the Terps.
Great problem, and let's watch for Wisnauskas here to really quarterback this man-up unit.
Off the post. Maltz couldn't stuff it home. 𝗷𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗃 scoops and knocked free. Great ride by Khan, who is relentless right near midfield, but 𝗷𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗃 clears.
I thought that was a pretty good look, but early in the shot clock, man up, potentially they could have massaged that a little bit more and waited to get a better one.
Maltz did almost put it home to make it 4-1. If you're Vermont, you played these first 10 minutes, and despite Maryland's edge in terms of possession, despite only 1 goal, you're hovering around here still within 2.
Yeah, I just want to see them start to work the defense a little bit more. I think they're settling for the first shot. I want to see them break the Maryland defense down, keep earning a little bit better of a shot as the possession goes on, and tire this defense out.
This is Fennick. Gives it off to McConvey. McConvey lost his man and whips it wide. Backed up by Vermont with Dave Closterman.
McConvey showcasing his athleticism right there. Just broke that mountain defender down to the ground.
There's Closterman, the veteran attackman, falling to the turf, defended by Ajax Zappitello. And it comes down with the Terps.
And what Coach talked about as Coach Fikes earlier in the week about not beating ourselves, that's it right there. Losing possession on a shot that wasn't a great one, just to give the Terps the ball back.
And a credit to Maryland defensively, too, forcing them late shot clock like that. Terps in the clear. And whip it wide to Jack Brennan. I mean, you got to clear it within the first 20 seconds of possession. Get it over the midfield line. Feed intended for Wisnauskas, picked up by Canfield.
Characteristic turnovers early for Maryland. See if Vermont can take advantage of that.
Charlie Pope out of bounds. Heck of a ride from Bubba Fairman. Maryland sideline's going to love that from Fairman. Terps cycle bodies through offensively now in the stick of Owen Murphy and back behind the Villanova transfer Keegan. Brennan straight on, goes to the far side with Wisnauskas. Khan peels it back for Malever. Wisnauskas. With his defender hung up, can't stuff it past Cornell.
Bit of a miscommunication there by the Vermont defense on who was going to pick Wisnauskas up on that hung situation. He's able to get around, but tremendous save there by the goalkeeper of Vermont.
You get your defense defender hung up, your mindset is what?
Depends on what point in the shot clock you are, but once you get a guy hung up, you hope that the offensive guys you're playing with are cutting, and you're trying to find one of those cutters. If not, you push aside. Tremendous save there by Ryan Cornell and Wisnauskas.
It's 𝗩𝗏𝗏𝗀𝘀 on McConvey. Moves it over to McCormack. Guy can shoot it 111 miles an hour.
Faster than I'll probably ever be able to shoot the ball.
You're not alone. Basile against Fairman. Whips it wide. And now the human Mack truck freshman, Charlie Pope, goes down against Smith. Shot clock below 15. Now Closterman. Matched up with Zappitello. And Closterman trying to throw it in front for Limoges, and another good defensive possession for Maryland, and the Terps run.
Watch for transition here. Maryland has numbers.
Fairman downshifted. Now Wisnauskas will play to DeMaio. And have the final shot here in this first quarter. First round NCAA tournament action. The winner gets Virginia next Sunday. Where do you want to go? Final shot here.
Final shot, first and foremost, I think Maryland's the type of team, they're going to work for the final shot. I know some of the things we saw yesterday, guys were forcing it a little bit earlier. Maryland's going to work for the final shot. Let's look for them to attack a short stick matchup and then get Logan Wisnauskas involved after that.
Wisnauskas, one and white, right at the 20-yard line. Pass was trying to get back to Wisnauskas, broken up on Donville's feet. Pat Murphy spins it back here with 5 seconds to go.
Tremendous job by Patrick Murphy, number 41. In green to get a stop there. A little bit of a nugget, we call that, grabbing the ball out of the air as they look to pass the ball back to Wisnauskas up top.
Very nicely done in the two-man game by Patrick Murphy. Well, Vermont gave up a few early to the Terps, but they have forced Maryland into 5 turnovers. Got a 2-goal game after 1. They got up to a 2-6 start, so they're sitting there the middle of March at 2-6, heading into conference play. And they're practicing indoors quite a bit because of the cold conditions all the way up in Vermont. And yet here they are as they have found their stride coming out of America East.
Yeah, and last year, Coach Fife's kind of mentioned to us that they felt like they were going into that game, they were kind of the JV of the program compared to Maryland, and this year they feel like they're a lot better at that varsity level now, but so is Maryland.
And that's the unfortunate thing. If you are a Catamounts fan, if you're Chris Fife's, that, yeah, we got better. Well, so did Maryland compared to last year's meeting in the first round as McConvey stings one that misses.
I know McConvey wants that one back right there. That's a gimme for him.
No goals yet for the 60-goal scorer, Thomas McConvey, on 3 shots to this point. Only goal scorer for Vermont is Liam Limoges, and we haven't seen much of the second leading goal scorer, this guy, 97, Michael McCormack, armed with a howitzer. But he was held quiet last year in the meeting with Maryland as well. Just 1 goal on 2 shots. Fennick, the midfielder, off the post. Nearly made it a 1-goal game.
Great take there by number 33 in green. Different French.
Fennick almost got it to go. And now Wisnauskas sets up. McConvey tried to keep it alive right near midfield, but instead it was Rahill. And the Terps operate. Another look.
Excuse me, great take there. Notice Maryland does not want to slide to Roman Pugliese, number 8 in white. Attack those short stick matchups all day if you're Vermont with no slide coming.
Donville to the left hand. Oh, that is nifty. Started on the step down, went to the left and finished.
A Canadian righty scoring left-handed in Donville. Just showcasing his versatility as a Canadian. Watch the rushed approach here, out of control. Splits to his left hand. And again, most Canadians don't want to put it in their left hand. Donville's confident enough there to do it. He not only does it, but he really sticks one off that right hip.
The mid-season second-team All-American, according to Inside Lacrosse, who got drafted 16th overall. And in the NLL draft back in August, he went first overall. It's a face-off win for 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and a stop by Cornell. Staring down Owen Murphy, who he goes to 1 point, Wisnauskas on the other. 𝗏𝗏𝗏's a threat as well. Maryland can strike quickly off face-off wins, and they win back possession as well.
It just seems like Maryland always somehow gets possession back like that in the middle of the field. It's unfortunate for Vermont, who is going to try to build momentum here, and that keeps happening. You really can't.
After Maryland scored for the first time in nearly 11 minutes of game action, they lead by 3 here early on in the second. Jack Brennan takes it below the goal line and gets it back from Keegan. Canfield shadowing him. Flip behind the cage. And Koras feeds. Sends it wide.
Another hung situation there with Koras, number 22 in white. And again, you're looking for those cutters. And if you can't find one, eventually you're going to attack the side. But luckily there, he was able to find Con for a great scoring opportunity. He just missed it.
And this time it's Koras cutting, which he does so well in scoring from Con.
Offense here by Koras. He was trying to find cutters at first. This shows the versatility of number 22 in white, going from a feeder, then to a cutter, getting that pass from Con to bury it low and away.
So it's 5-1 Maryland, and you see the Terps' edge in face-offs. Tommy Burke trying to win one against 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏's second best in the country. Burke fourth best in the country, but it's 𝗏𝗏𝗏 again. And it's 𝗏𝗏𝗏 feeding Con, tough to handle. Flag goes down right in front of the crease. And now 2 flags.
Starting to feel like danger zone a little bit for Vermont, going man down here.
Get a cross check.
Big hit there by number 30 in green.
3-0. Cross check. 1 minute. 3-0. 1 minute.
No, it's a penalty there, but you don't want to give up that easy one on the crease for Con. It's kind of a trade-off. You get a penalty, but it would have been an easy goal otherwise.
Well, now Vermont really needs to stop. They've got the second best man-down defense in the country at 77%, but they have not seen anyone like Maryland.
I know Maryland looked for the early one before. Watch out for them to really draw this defense out over time and find a great scoring opportunity.
Maltz comes on, 37 in the middle, right in front of the crease. DeMaio. On the interchange, it's Maltz. Back up top, DeMaio. DeMaio steps down and scores. A rocket from Anthony DeMaio.
That's exactly why he just got picked up for the Redwood Lacrosse Club. Anthony DeMaio, number 16 in white, just steps in. No one wants to pick me up. That's fine. I'll take it. Showcasing his range, that low to high, mid 3/4 shot. That's what he's known for. Sticks in top right corner. Again, this is danger zone for Vermont.
He's got that shot. And then what John Gilson said was this week. Last couple of weeks has been the best lacrosse that he's played because he's changing his release point. So sometimes you just got to go to bread and butter, though. All reliable gets the job done for Tony Todd. Maryland just keeps hogging possession here in this first half. 3 goals in exactly 2 minutes for the Terps. Nice catch by Kahn. Couldn't get a shot off cleanly. And now Vermont needs this ground ball. Swept toward the sideline. Murphy in pursuit. And he gobbles. And then threw it away.
There's a little bit of a reckless pass by Maryland. But again, it doesn't turn into an offensive possession for Vermont. If you're Vermont, that has to be your ball.
Murphy couldn't slide it to safety in the direction of fellow shorty Stone Jacobs. Kahn picked up the handle from Long. And Vermont collects this time with Canfield. Seconds. Canfield hoists it. Looking for McCormack. And picked up by Closterman. He is so gritty with all he does for this Vermont team, 10 and green.
That right there just speaks to really how good this Maryland team is. 2 turnovers, and then they force Vermont to have to throw all the way over the top just to get a possession.
Those possessions few and far between in this first half for the Catamounts. Here's Fennick with a bounce in his step. Trying to work on Alex Smith. Maryland shorties are so good defensively. McCormack with Zappitello on him. No breathing room around the pick. Makar on McConvey. Pries it free. Picked up by Fennick. 5 to shoot, and a turnover.
5v4 situation for Maryland.
Smith gives it up. Wisnauskas can't get it past Cornell, who got a piece of it, and then it hovered right near the goal line.
Cornell is the only reason right now that this game isn't about 8-9-1. Credit to him.
5th-year senior from Connecticut. Still the only Under Armour All-American in this Vermont program, as Chris Fikes pointed out to us. And it was a few years ago when he was pushing Nick Wishuta during and after Wishuta's All-American season.
Tremendous save by Cornell, just matching stick for stick with Logan Wisnauskas there.
20.
And if I'm Vermont, I'm looking to attack Maryland short sticks. Maryland does not want to slide to their short sticks. We call it leaving the defender on an island. They trust their matchups, but you got to attack them still.
So here's an opportunity for just that. Jake Higgins, the shorty. The shot comes wide this time, fired by Jonas Hunter.
Hey, take it out.
Got to do it as hard as it is, you're saying.
Have to. It's the only way you're going to be able to start getting this Maryland defense to rotate and earn a high-quality shot opportunity.
Backed up along the sideline by Pope with 15 to shoot for Vermont. Just the 1 goal through a quarter and a half. 6 feet, 240. And a denial by McNaney from the sharp angle. Gefford runs in transition for the Terps. Zappitello scores! With a flag down, Ajax Zappitello is on the board with the first of the season.
Whole goal in transition. Coach Weiss told us he doesn't want to play in the middle of the field. But watch Zappitello. Defense to offense. Awesome scoring opportunity for him. First of the season. Maryland just continues their dominance in this first half.
Sun shining in College Park and on the Terps so far. We check out the lower part of the bracket where Penn advanced in overtime despite the best efforts of Richmond. Still today, we'll see Ohio State against Cornell, Delaware, and Georgetown as well on that part of the bracket. Fairman flings it high. What do you think about that side of the bracket, how things shake out with those matchups?
Cardiac Penn we saw yesterday. I know Rutgers has Harvard later. We'll see if the Ivy League can continue their hot streak or if the Big Ten is going to kind of come out on top. I think Ohio State, look for them to really battle versus Delaware later. And we'll see.
Yeah, your eyes might be on Piscataway. Maybe you could make it back in time, perhaps. Keegan Khan operates from Maryland with 7 goals from 7 different goal scorers. And now Khan adds to it. 8 different markers for Maryland here in the first half.
Khan just showcasing his versatility here. He's a strong lefty, but he gets to his right hand really, really well here. Just takes that bump, pushes him up the hash, and allows him to get up and over his defenseman with that jump shot.
A late bloomer, as John Tillman said to us, and he likes to tease you about something similar in your recruitment.
Khan, a New Jersey guy. I know me and Tillman go back and forth a little bit on why he potentially didn't recruit me, but Keegan Khan, 140 pounds when he was recruiting him back in the day, and now he's really blossomed since he's been at Villanova. And wow,
Wisnauskas off another Weirman win. Quick strike ability from the Terps, and Vermont needs a timeout.
Weirman just doing what he does well, getting that early offense going, and Wisnauskas again showcasing his quick release, lefty tendencies, and his range here. Just sticks one to that top left corner. And things, the buses, wheels are starting to roll off the bus here if you're Vermont.
And the Terp faithful loves it. Hey, I know you have so much respect for this Maryland program, and you played in close games against them in your time at Rutgers, and so much admiration from you in the way that John Tillman conducts his business and the way that they play out there.
Absolutely. That be the best mentality that he has, and his approach to the culture of that team, it's exactly why they're up 9-1 right now, because they focus on the little things, doing it day in, day out, and being selfless, and he recruits those kinds of players.
What is it about the way, too, that he admits his own mistakes, that on the receiving end of that, as a player, you see that? Like, it has what effect on him?
Absolutely. He's a guy that, he's all about accountability, but he wants his players to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail, because that's how you're going to get better, and he embodies that. So when his players see that, they're going to be able to take accountability themselves, and it just breeds that culture of consistent accountability.
Speaking of consistency, a 19th straight trip to the NCAA tournament. 44 in total for this program, second most all-time to Hopkins. 27 Final Fours, and that is where Maryland is trying to get to again. And to win the national championship, of course, this year after falling last year to Virginia. And Brett Makar said it, that the loss in the national championship game last season, that's one of those things that sticks with you like a tattoo on your brain, he said.
Yeah, and Coach Tillman told us earlier this week that Coach Bernhardt sticks stuff in the locker to remind the guys every single day, keep them humble so that they keep that fire burning throughout the season.
Yeah, they've got the image of the score from the loss to Virginia in the title game inside of their lockers. Been to at least the quarterfinals every year since that first round exit in 2013. Cornell was stopped on DeMaio. Coming up on 6 to go in the second, Cornell lost it, recovered it, and now sprints up toward midfield.
Cornell's really been the lone bright spot for this Vermont Catamounts team early, and I know the score is 9-1, and it might not seem it, but thankfully for him, he's really keeping them in this game potentially.
McConvey was calling for that. He finally got it, and then missed wide. Haley runs up. And now McConvey swimming through traffic. McCormack with that rocket handled by McNaney.
That's just too easy for McNaney. Again, if you're Vermont, you got to earn higher quality shot opportunities. Force McNaney to shift in his cage from left to right instead of just seeing one dead on from a low angle there.
It's 1 for 15 shooting for Vermont here in the first half. different goal scorers, as we said, for Maryland. And 2 goals from Logan Wisnauskas to get up to 50 this season. The 5th Maryland player to ever do that. Regains his footing. Behind the back, it's Keegan with a dandy for the Terps.
Terps like to have fun, too. I know they're fundamentally sound, but Logan Wisnauskas, again, the quarterback, the playmaker here, wheeling and dealing, drawing the double team, and Wisnauskas sees Khan just following the green, hedging down towards Wisnauskas, catches it right over his shoulder for that BTB, doesn't run his angle out, but that BTB also extends the angle that he has there. Fantastic finish by number 19, White Keegan.
4-year starter at Villanova, nearly 180 points there, finished 5th all-time in that regard. Honorable mention All-American last year, and then just this week got drafted 20th overall to the PLL.
Mark in the second quarter. That goal was
12-1 face-off edge.
Keegan with the assist to number 1, Logan Wisnauskas.
Khan spins away from trouble and works into Wisnauskas. Kyle Long on for DeMaio. And now John Donville runs on.
What makes this Maryland team so dangerous, too, is you have DeMaio and Donville attacking the short sticks on Vermont. It's just really, really tough.
And you've got Owen Murphy picking out corners as well, adding to the Maryland first half.
Owen Murphy, snappy, quick release. You're not going to play on me. Didn't draw much of a slide there, but his defenseman hedged off enough that when he caught it, he had shooting space. And that quick release got it off. Owen Murphy bears in the bottom corner.
I mean, this is a Vermont team that there was some thought, too, that, hey, depending on how the bracket breaks, maybe they have upset potential because of where this program has come over the 6 years that Chris Fikes has been there. But they ran into the absolute juggernaut who, I mean, we're going to be talking about them regardless of what happens the next couple of weeks as historically good.
Yeah, it's tough for Vermont, but we talked to Coach Fikes. He wanted us to really highlight the fact that Vermont is a program that year in, year out, they can show up and get into the NCAA tournament, and that's what you want as a player at the end of the day. You want to play games in May, and Vermont's a team that you can really, really get that opportunity to do that.
They've done it these last couple of seasons. Shot goes wide there. I mean, you think about Maryland's season. We told you off the top that this season they have trailed for 35 minutes and 25 seconds. The entirety of the year. They've never trailed by more than 4 goals. And they've only trailed by more than 1 goal for 12 minutes and 23 seconds. Vermont's got its second of the day with 3:18 to go here in the second. Nicely done by James Basile, the junior.
James Basile just showcasing his athleticism there, grabbing that out of the air off of that feed by David Closterman and finishing on that one touch. Tremendous athleticism and dexterity to finish that shot.
Garden City native with his 5th of the season. Weirman and Maryland trying to win this one against Tim Norton with a yard sale in progress. So Norton is now 2 for 4 after Tommy Burke was 1 for 11 against Weirman. We saw something similar in that Yale-St. Joe's game yesterday, with Yale trying to find answers going up against Zach Cole. Best face-off man in the country on St. Joe's, who was part of that thrilling game that was back and forth. You were telling me the score as we were driving from Philadelphia. And at one point, it was like 15-12, you said. And I said, oh, 4th quarter? You said, no, it's the 3rd.
Yeah, just a really, really great job by St. Joe's coming out there on national television, showcasing how good of a program that really is, their toughness, and how dynamic that attack was. I love watching them.
They get a stop on Charlie Pope. That was fun to watch. One of a few thrillers yesterday and day one of the NCAA tournament. This is the first of 4 games here today. We still have Ohio State Cornell coming up 2:30 Eastern right here on ESPNU. Then 5 o'clock, it's Harvard and Rutgers. And then the nightcap, Delaware and Georgetown in D.C. Bouncer goes. It's Jack Koras with 1:42 to go in the second.
Jack Koras, if you're not going to slide hands-free at 10 yards, I'm going to shoot the ball. I don't know if Vermont was a little bit unorganized there, but Koras getting that close to the cage, it's just too easy for him.
Sophomore from Lutherville, Maryland. He had 1 goal in the first 4 games.
Not going to be a one-shot yet.
Now he has scored in all but 1 game over his last 11. And a couple of goals in the Big Ten title game against Rutgers. Weirman a win against Norton. And swept it along the safety.
Make it, take it across with Weirman.
Number 22.
Really big advantage to have with a face-off guy like that.
It's just incredible to think about how much better Luke Weirman has gotten since last year. 65% this year for the junior from Westchester, PA. I told you second best in the entire country. For a Maryland team that, as a group, at the Face-Off X last season, they were 48%. There's a lot of Justin Shockey. The matchup between these two teams last year, he went 19 for 28 against Tommy Burke.
Get into that last possession opportunity for the second half. The last thing you want to do is give Maryland the ball back if you're Vermont to have them go up by another goal.
35 to go here in quarter number 2 in College Park. It has been all Terps in this first half. A massive second quarter after Maryland led 3-1 after the first 15 minutes. They had outscored Vermont 9-1 in the second.
Fennec wants to attack Smith here. They don't want to slide. Attack him.
Flipped it off. They move it around. McConvey is just hounded by Brett Makar. Final 3 seconds. And that will do it for the first half here in College Park. Well, the undisputed #1 team in the country very much looks the part in these first 30 minutes.
Dominant. Just dominant.
12 goals on 26 shots for this Maryland offense. Dominated possession, 13 out of 16 faceoffs controlled by Luke Weirman and the Terps. And John Tillman is kind enough to join us right now. And Coach, out of everything there in those first 2 quarters, what did you like the most?
I mean, it's hard not to talk about Luke just getting that many possessions. I think he won the first 5, and getting that many extra possessions makes such a big difference. And we were a little sloppy on the offensive end early, and then cleaned some things up. And I thought the guys executed much better in the second quarter.
Coach, thanks a lot for the time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hard not to talk about what Luke Weirman did going up against someone as strong as Tommy Burke.
Just makes your job really easy as an offensive player. When you get the ball that much, you're comfortable, you're confident, and you're seeing that with the Maryland offense right now, who's on a tear, 12-2, going into the half. Let's see if Vermont can come out and sort of piece something together, maybe attack the short 6 a little bit more and start to figure some things out.
Heningburg, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you, and Maryland leading Vermont by 10 as we gear up for the third quarter. And Jules, of everything that Maryland does offensively, what jumps out to you the most? And what is the defining characteristic of it?
It's just precision. They take care of the ball, they make the opportunities count, and when they get them, they stick them. Right? They're shooting 40% on the adjusted offensive efficiency scale this year, and they're showcasing it today. Every shot it seems like they take is just a great shot. It's got great placement, and it's probably going in. And you're seeing that all game long with them. Full goals, transition. Guys getting to really high-quality spots on the field. Logan Wisnauskas has been doing what he's always done in his career. Some fun there with Keegan on the behind the back. And, of course, Owen Murphy in his couple of goals. And then, you know, the Cats, they've gotten their couple of opportunities as well. I would love to see them continue to fight to get to the hard spots to score great goals.
You see the big discrepancy in terms of face-offs, and that was the story in John Tillman's mind of the first half and what Luke Weirman did against Tommy Burke. So much so that Chris Pipes then shifted and went away from Tommy Burke, top 5 guy in the country, to more Tim Norton. And it's 29 in green Tim Norton, who is out there against Weirman to start the third quarter. Maycar picks it up off the carpet for the Terps, and they go right back to work controlling possession as they did throughout the first couple of quarters. They were up 3-1 after the first, and then they opened up the second quarter with 8 consecutive goals over a span of about 9.5 minutes. And the 2 goals that Maryland gave up in the first half, that is their best first half this season defensively. Like they'll have a date with Virginia next Sunday and a title game rematch in the quarterfinals.
Could be a national championship effort in that game we see next week.
Cornell came out of the cage and Wisnauskas makes him pay.
Wisnauskas just demonstrating his high IQ here. Again, getting hung, it forces the goalie to come out of the cage, but if you come too far, and Wisnauskas is able to get top side, then the goal is going to be open. And credit to him for being able to score that from such a far range. Again, just showcasing his versatility.
It's a hat trick you see for Logan Wisnauskas, and that's the 38th hat trick of his career. And with that, he ties 𝗔𝘀𝘀𝗶𝘀𝘁 for the Maryland record for hat tricks. After earlier this season, he broke Bernhardt's points record, who broke Matt Rambo's points record. Number 1 has been good the last number of years for this program.
I would be remiss if I didn't comment on Matt Rambo, who I'm familiar with him. I played on the Whip Snakes. What a character he is. He set the kind of stage for this Maryland team. I know previously it was Joe Walters, a couple guys, but Logan Wisnauskas, 𝗔𝘀𝘀𝗶𝘀𝘁, he learned that number 1 mentality from Matt Rambo and really demonstrates again in the PLL what that's all about.
Kahn was stripped but a flag down. And Maryland will go man up. And Matt Rambo, by the way, credited with another point. He had the assist on a dinner recommendation last night.
Dinner recommendation, and then he also told me that I need to get cultured and put tahini on my pineapple. I appreciate you, Matt Rambo.
The officials congregating here.
I don't mind number 41 in green, Patrick Murphy there, laying the body. You have to protect the paint if you're the defense. Don't give up those easy opportunities inside there.
Number 41, illegal body check with contact to the head. 1 minute, it's a full-time foul.
Yeah, locked in. So that was the decision, and it is unreleasable. Pat Murphy, the sophomore from Duxbury, Massachusetts, first team all-conference shorty. He's down there for 60 seconds. Maryland could really stretch this thing even further.
I'd be careful if I was Vermont, leaving Wisnauskas number 1 and went up with that much range.
And move him around surgically all over the offensive end. Murphy. Now DeMaio.
Watch for the crease here.
On a skip. Murphy sails it.
If you notice Maryland's offense, what they're trying to do here is get Vermont out of their zone. So the area that you're playing in, when you play a zone, you want to pull that guy away from it, and then you want to skip the ball.
Wisnauskas wide. Backed up by Kahn. Murphy the pipe.
That thing had some mustard on it.
And now 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 runs. Catabounce in transition. Extra pass and Limoges stopped. What a save by McNaney.
Oh, McNaney, the extra one more. Great job by Vermont, but McNaney just robbing them.
What a save by Logan McNaney.
And again, the easy finish, or it should be an easy finish for Vermont, just turns into an unbelievable save by McNaney. And that's what makes this Maryland team so good. One more pass, fake, and McNaney's getting his foot down there and that head of his stick.
And now Makar vacuums a ground ball.
It's a tremendous save to Maryland. Transition.
Kahn couldn't haul in Fairman's pass. And now Manning starts it back for McConvey. Vermont looking for some sort of momentum here. Third quarter. Goal from Limoges. The goal from Basile.
The word that comes to mind is just deflating. That's what that kind of save does to you. It just deflates you as a team.
Flag down at midfield on the shot. And Vermont will go man up.
Flag is on white. 1-9. Offsides. 30-second technical foul. 1-9. 30 seconds.
So 30 seconds for Vermont to operate with the offsides on Maryland. First 4 minutes here in the third quarter for a Vermont team that has had a great season. They beat Penn State wire to wire. It was their first win over a current Big Ten team since the mid-'80s. They lost by 1 to Brown on the road in late February. They beat a good Bryant program and in here on this 10-game winning streak, but running into a buzzsaw.
Maryland penalty on number 19, Keegan Kahn. 30 seconds for offsides. Time of the penalty, 11:10.
McConvey moves it around to Haley. Back from Limoges. On for McConvey.
Vermont's just looking here to pull the Maryland defenders 4 to 5 yards out of their zone. You snap the ball back and then snap it through the defense.
Backed up by Limoges. McConvey sails one high. Back to 6-on-6. Stingy Maryland defense. We talked at length about their shorties. A close defense that's been sharp this season as well. McConvey got knocked down and a flag down, and then 2 more flags fly as Haley ended up in the goal.
Haley's okay there. They're going to let him just shove.
Check by Roman Puglisi. Those were the second flags after there was already a flag down as Thomas McConvey went down. And Ray Hill's looking for an explanation.
Two flags on the play, both on white, both on number 8. First flag, cross check, 1 minute. Second flag, illegal body check, 2 minutes. 3 minutes in total, 1 player.
Puglisi, tough on the penalties. It's just that end there by Puglisi, the extra shove into the cage is definitely unnecessary.
That's what prompted the 2 minutes. Paired with the initial infraction. 3 minutes of total time on Roman Puglisi. The best D-middies in the entire country. So Vermont certainly needs to capitalize. Stone Jacobs moves it behind for Closterman. Makar comes down on him. McCormack now for McConvey. 60-goal scorer this season. Slings a pass to Closterman. That is a beauty from McConvey. And Closterman's on the board.
McConvey showcasing his vision here. Holding the defense over the top. When you're man up, you want to shift as he goes over the top of the defense, shift them over, and that allows that skip lane to open up and snaps that down. The easy dunk on the crease by number 10, Dave Closterman.
Second on the team in points. First in assists. First team all-conference, one of the leaders on this team, and a guy whose motor is just incredible to watch, in particular in the rock.
Yeah, Coach told us earlier this week, Spice, that every practice he shows up and competes at a very, very high level. He's a man amongst boys, and he's the best player he's really ever coached in the world.
The extra man goal is scored by number 10.
Well, 13 3-hour score here. 9.5 to go in the third. First of our 4 games today. Still plenty of lacrosse to come. Ohio State, Cornell, Harvard, Rutgers, and then Delaware, Georgetown. Lefty shot from long is handled by Cornell.
Cornell stepping up again for Vermont there. Clean, open look on him.
The quick transition, short side not there for Limoges against McDaney. Picked up by Maryland.
He's got to be a little bit smarter off of that save from Cornell. You can't just settle for that kind of shot that early in the possession.
Maryland sets up offensively again. About midway through this third quarter. This team was preseason number 2 in the Inside Lacrosse Bowl. The reigning national champions, but a couple of polls later, number 1, and they have been ever since. And the top seed here in the NCAA tournament, which they also were in 3 straight seasons, 16, 17, and 18. And it's the 9th time in program history with that 1 seed beside their name here in the Big Dance.
Model of consistency. The Terps are.
Every time they've gone at least the semifinals when they've been the top seed in the tournament. Jacobs pressures Kahn. Wisnauskas moves it. It's Brennan.
Do your job. Logan Wisnauskas, the eagleless superstar, the ball swinging around. He knows right when he catches that it's not his ball to get. Swings that backside to number 41, Jack Brennan, to finish it. Well done.
Back at College Park, third quarter, NCAA tournament, Maryland and Vermont. But today there was a moment of silence pregame for the Delaware State and the Howard lacrosse programs. And in the fight for equality, pretty special and powerful and important that Maryland as a program took a moment to recognize that, and that John Tillman is wearing that shirt with good reason.
Yeah, a really strong gesture there by Coach Tillman. And for those unfamiliar, the Howard women's lacrosse team in HBCU back in February, they dealt with a slew of racial slurs at their game versus Presbyterian. And then most recently, the Delaware State women's lacrosse team, also in HBCU, they were riding back from a Florida tournament, and their chartered bus got pulled over. At first, head coach Pamela Jenkins expressed to the New York Times she thought everything was fine, and then very quickly things changed and she got really worried. I think for me, looking at this situation, and I spoke to defender Sydney Anderson, who wrote the viral article that everyone saw on social media. I just want to credit her for having the bravery to go out there. She went out to CNN and spoke about the incident. After something that's so traumatic, for her to have the courage to do that. If she didn't do that, she felt like the incident would have got stopped. So credit to her, credit to Coach speaking up, and Coach Tillman going out of his way to really highlight that today.
It's got to stop at some point. And while it doesn't, it's on all of us to speak up about it.
Absolutely. And the people like Coach Tillman, like Coach Feist that have platforms, us right now, that can continue to speak up on that, that's only going to improve things.
Powerful shirt and message from John Tillman and both teams, fans here. Thinking about that, top of mind before getting this game started today. Maryland has been in control. Donville is stopped by Cornell.
Continues to be a bright spot for Vermont today. Man, they are very fortunate to have him in the goal, because I can't tell you what the score would be if he wasn't having the day he is.
He's a second-year captain on this team, and both Chris Feist and Tommy Burke, when we were chatting with the Vermont faceoff man this week, they went out of their way to single out what kind of leader that Cornell has been and has been for this program and changing the culture of this group. And he's a guy that's pretty tough as well, because he suffered a torn Achilles as a sophomore. And Chris Feist said to us, I've never seen anyone come back from a torn Achilles as fast as Ryan Cornell did.
Yeah, which, for those of you that don't know, a torn Achilles is a very significant injury. I think potentially worse than an ACL. So for him to come back as fast as he did, just credit to him and his work ethic in the training room.
By the way, Vermont and Chris Feist and Tommy Burke and whoever, they were quote machines this week. We couldn't get enough of our conversations with them. And I think the headliner for me was Tommy Burke in talking about where he is mentally at the face-off X. He said, I'm like Patrick from SpongeBob. When I face off, I try not to think about anything.
I love it. And face-off guys, obviously, Greg Renly and Jerry Raganese, a lot of the guys that I know, that position is so difficult because you're on an island. So the mental piece to it is so important to be able to go out there and just reset yourself, because the next one is the most important one.
Murphy scores. It's a hat trick for Owen Murphy on a 4-point day.
Off-ball movement wins games, and that's what Maryland does so well. And you see number 55 in white, Owen Murphy comes over the top to get that from Keegan Khan and finishes on that jump shot to that low corner. Tremendous job off-ball movement.
So 15-3, the Maryland margin. And Weirman's been getting some breathers here. It's Gavin Ty again against Tommy Burke, who again has just not had his type of day against Luke Weirman and the wing play as well for the Terps. The guy at Burke at 63%. Coming into today, he had taken all but 41 faceoffs for him. The guy was a midseason honorable mention All-American by Inside Lacrosse, but Weirman in this one, 16 out of 19.
Just pure dominance.
Off a skip. It's DeMaio striking again. His second of the afternoon.
It's a change of release point. The exact same kind of three-quarter shot by DeMaio here, but instead of it sticking it to the upper 90 of the cage, he drops it for that worm burner. And this is what Coach Tillman talked about, why he's been such a significant impact the last few weeks as a scorer.
He had 4 and 2 in the championship game of the Big Ten tournament, right here against Rutgers. Tied the Virginia transfer with a win. I mean, face-offs have just reshaped this Maryland team. For as good as this program is, year in, year out, it has changed them unquestionably this season because of Weirman.
Yeah, it really dates back to them getting Chris Mattis on staff a number of years ago. I remember being one of the first programs to really invest into the face-off as much as they have. And now you fast forward 4, 5, 6 years, and Weirman is out here standing on the shoulders of all those previous before him.
And John Tillman's honest about it as well. I mean, he said to us this week, we always set the bar high, and we want to think that our kids, our players, can achieve anything and dream big. But to think that Luke Weirman could have gone from where he's been at in the past to where he's been this season, it's just incredible. As Maryland strikes again with Wisnauskas.
Wisnauskas showcasing that to be a great player, it doesn't have to be with the ball in your stick. Again, he's one of the best, if not the best player in the country, and he does a great job just continuing to move without it and find awesome scoring opportunities.
Big-time numbers in his time here.
I think his day might be over.
He is a man of few words.
Groot, as they call him.
Guardians of the Galaxy. John Tillman has nothing but good things to say about him. He's been joking with him. What am I going to do when you're gone? And yeah, started your career at Syracuse, but now a sixth-year senior. He's seen a lot in his time in College Park. He's got 4 and 2 in this one, and Maryland just scored the last 3 goals in a minute 23. And well, ricochets out on Owen Murphy, and it belongs to the Catamounts.
Wow, the kick save again. I have to imagine, if he wasn't doing this today, the score could be 25 right now, which would just be absurd.
And still 17 in the final 3 minutes of the third. Despite 10 saves from Cornell, guy who came in 7th in the country in save percentage and 2nd in goals against average. Just 3 for 24 shooting in this one, and not a ton of great looks against the Maryland defense. McConvey, his pass toward Closterman got picked off, knocked down by Ajax Zappitello, but Limoges recovered.
It's been a hard day for the Vermont offense, but McConvey, I want to see him attack in a 2-man game, get the short stick matchup, and then draw the attention and allow himself to be a feeder instead of trying to feed the ball without earning slides.
The rocket is handled by McNaney from McCormack, and Maryland starts back in transition.
It's number 2 in white, Bubba Fairman. We talked to Coach Tillman about this. I think it's been a topic nationally when you think about Bubba Fairman, who is an offensive player.
DeMaio from Fairman.
Turn to D-Nitty, but he still has the offensive prowess. The IQ right there to see DeMaio coming in that early offense transition, and DeMaio, the exact same release, but now he just snaps it to the upper 90, the top right corner.
And again, as John Tillman said to us, Logan Wisnauskas loves it, by the way. They didn't know for sure what was going to happen with DeMaio and Fairman, and if they would return. And because of that uncertainty, like any program might do, they went out and looked in the portal. And you find guys like Donville to come in and other pieces at the offensive end. You've got some freshman midfielders who become sophomores as well. And John Tillman said it was Bubba Fairman who made the choice to go to defensive midfield.
Yeah, I want to note, though, that Coach Tillman said he thinks that improved his stop at the pro level, and he got traded up for it. And now he has that versatility to be a 2-way guy instead of just pigeonholing himself to just being an offensive midfielder and limiting the potential he had to make a roster.
And former number 2 recruit in the country in his class, according to Inside Lacrosse, he put up 75 goals over the previous 4 seasons, including a couple of 25-plus goal seasons. Maryland has spread it around in this one. McNaney, another stop. He denies Limoges, and it's 11 saves for Logan McNaney.
It kind of makes his saves just look easy. Like, he's just not moving that much, but the ball just never seems to go in on him.
So 35 seconds to go here in the third, with Maryland up by 15. And a date with Virginia getting that much closer. The speedy Kyle Long.
Notice how they got the short stick switch there with Long. I want to see McNaney do that on the other side.
Another stop by Cornell is 11th. And he whips it upfield in the waning seconds back at McNaney. And we will head to the fourth with Maryland totally dominating this one. It's 18-3 Terps here in their first round NCAA tournament game against Vermont. shots and spreading the wealth. Vermont and Maryland, first round of the NCAA tournament. And we said off the top that, look, Vermont in its first 43 seasons didn't go to a single NCAA tournament. And now what Chris Pipes has done with his staff is taken them to back-to-back tournaments. And I thought it was really interesting as you asked him this week about the Canadian influence on their roster. And he said that they have modeled themselves the last few years like Denver. And he thinks, why can't we be what Denver is and what Bill Tierney has built out there? And, hey, they can have British Columbia. We'll take Toronto.
Absolutely. And it's really the attitude that those Canadian kids bring. And he learned that from coaching those guys at UNC, the 𝗓𝗍𝘀𝘁s, the Simpsons of the world. Those guys, that's what he wanted in his Vermont program, and you're seeing that's why they're going as far as they are.
And right on cue, it's an Ontario native, Brock Haley, with a goal. Junior attackman.
Brock Haley just showcasing strong righty tendencies here as Canadians sweeping over the top and stick side high. I know McCaney wants that one back, but still, great finish there by number 11, Brock Haley.
Chris Pipes and his staff, offensive coordinator Jake Bernhardt, defensive coordinator Ryan Kavanaugh, they actually flew out to Denver after the 2018 season, and they learned a lot about what the Pioneers have done out west with their program, and not just with the Canadian influence, and they've tried to take a lot of that back to Vermont. And Chris Pipes, man, he has done a heck of a job in 6 years.
He has it. And I think number one thing that stood out to me is his culture is built on discipline, respect, and gratitude. That's what he's trying to show up every single day in the locker room and bring forth, and it shows in his team in the way that they play.
They were sitting at 2-6 in the middle of March. Made their way here to the NCAA tournament. They took down Albany in the semifinals by 10. And they took down UMBC by 2 after trailing that game by as many as 3 late in the second quarter. And they handled Manhattan on Wednesday. And up at Virtue Fields, the home of the Catamounts, they had more than 1,600 there for that game on Wednesday. A lacrosse record for that venue.
A lot of electric places across the country that are playing lacrosse. Now, I know Providence game was jumping for Brown versus Virginia. Just shows really the growth of the sport. And credit to the PLL for really igniting a lot of that on social media.
Yeah, I love what Lars Tiffany and the Virginia team did, and David Roselle, the Virginia goalie, bringing in 40 students on the grounds in Charlottesville to try to prep the players for what the chirps and what the atmosphere was going to be like last night.
I love it. I don't know if anyone else in the country is going to do that, but Coach Tiffany, I mean, credit to him with that Virginia program. It takes what it takes, and he's willing to do whatever it is to get back to championship weekend.
Maryland's had a new goalie in here. Drew Morris has relieved Logan McNaney at the start of the fourth quarter here in College Park. Jules Heningburg, Mike Monaco with you, our entire crew behind the scenes on a busy weekend for college lacrosse here on our ESPN family of networks. And by the way, shout out to Charlotte North in the women's game right now. A record-setting goal, 342, the new D1 all-time record.
She is a GOAT. I follow her on social media. I watch her. She plays the game unlike any other female I've seen and really shoots the ball harder than a lot of men. And I can't tell you that the highlights that she has, she's changing the game before our eyes.
Absolutely is. I remember talking to her and her coaching staff last year, and they would talk about how she is just approaching the sport differently, carrying her stick like a weapon and trying to do damage with it, and not just a vessel to transport the ball. That was the way they described it last year.
I love that. Her 8-meter wind up, that thing is going and it hits top right. Woo!
Vicious.
Vicious.
He is one of the best players, period, in all of sports. Eric Malever got hit hard at the Maryland end offensively off a Vermont takeaway. They operate here. Gonna look at Morris the backup for the Terps. Grad student from New Canaan, Connecticut. Closterman throws it behind. It's Fennick spinning. And now McCormack. Built like an NFL linebacker, and he's got the cannon as well. Most jacked offensive player I've seen, in the words of his head coach, Chris Fikes.
Just a big boy shot by McCormack, getting down the right alley, showcasing his strong righty hammer, shooting that top left corner. That'll get the boys going.
Sixth-year senior from Williamstown, Massachusetts, who's a 24-year-old in his second year with the Catamounts after he spent 4 years and graduated from Middlebury, not too far from Vermont's campus. And a guy who is very impressive in what he has done. Second-team all-conference, and now at 40 goals. And Vermont's got back-to-back goals consecutively for the first time in this game.
You got to feel for some of these guys going against 24, 25-year-old men. You show up to campus, you're an 18-year-old freshman. I know Charlotte Beatties at Rutgers last year was the oldest, one of the oldest.
Still playing?
At like 25 years old. Oh, I love it.
Brock Haley is denied by Morris, who starts the quick outlet up ahead. Nice catch in transition by the Terps. Owen 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the nifty handle.
That's their backup there in Maryland. Another lefty. They love their lefties. Dating back to Kyle 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, guy I used to still go against in the PLL. It seems like they just want to do what they do well and keep just plugging that in at Maryland.
Manny's made some fine saves when he was in there in this one. Junior from Corning, New York, same hometown, of course, as John Tillman. Manny was mid-season honorable mention All-American.
I think sometimes with the goalies in Maryland, their defense, and even their defense as well, they just don't get a lot of credit because nothing really happens. They just stop you, so you're not getting a ton of shots on the goal. And then the shots they do get, he happens to save, but it's just not as high as some of those other goalies across the country.
In a group that lost Nick Grill from last year's team, second-team All-American, and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. And they have still been dominant at that end as well this season. Heck of a snipe there by Ryan 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the junior from Alpharetta, Georgia.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 there just showcasing his change of direction. Right there, that drop gets him that separation. And then similar to release to Anthony DeMaio on that 3/4 low to high, sticks it to that top right corner. Great move by him.
And you gotta love moments like this. First career goal, and you get it in the NCAA tournament. And the way he is received on the sidelines tells you everything you need to know about Ryan 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Those guys that come into the locker room and to practice day in, day out, that are playing scout, for them to get on the field in a moment like this and then showcase what they're all about, that's the best.
So 19-5 is the margin here with 9 to go in the fourth quarter. Sunday, it'll be Maryland and Virginia. And a rematch in the quarterfinals. Charlie Pope draws a flag and plays on. His pass made it through to Closterman. Operating from X on the throwback. Now Limoges spinning away from Morris. McCormack trying to get the hands free again. And man up coming for the Catamounts. 30 seconds on Alex Wicks.
Yeah, look at a bit of a hold there. That extra half a second. I like the contact by Wicks initially, but after you make that contact, you can't hold them for that long.
You can understand, though, needing everything in your power to stick with 6 feet 240, the armored tank.
That's a lot of man.
30 seconds for holding.
The Pope's Caravan.
8:26.
Tough to tangle with. So man up for Vermont. On a skip, nice catch by Closterman. Feeds it back. McConvey is stopped by Morris. And McConvey is still shut out in this one. 0 for 6 shooting.
Morris and McVaney just carbon copies of each other. Just even the way that they saved the ball. I just think it looks so easy.
Carried forward by the Terps midway through the fourth. And you think about how Maryland stacks up with Virginia. Let's take another look at the stop on McConvey. What strikes you first about that matchup? I mean, you got a freshman in Matt Nunes, who I know has always impressed you since you saw him even before his college time this year. You got Petey LaSala. You got Weirman, who's taken that huge step forward this year. What jumps out?
Yeah, I honestly think that of any team in the country right now in the tournament, Virginia matches up best with Maryland, which unfortunately we're going to see that game early on. But I think the way that Connor Schellenberger is playing, we know last year he really stepped up big time. Nunes, he's a freshman, but he's arguably one of the best goalies in the country as a freshman. You saw that on display last night. I think that they can come into that game and not, maybe they don't win it, but it's as competitive as a game we've seen all year.
I mean, you can reasonably argue, with no disrespect to the likes of Georgetown or Penn or Yale or Princeton, that you can argue that when healthy, it's the two best teams in the country for sure.
Absolutely, and I think that that's kind of what happened with Virginia is they got a little bit beat up down the stretch. Some people forgot about them, but they showed last night that they're here to make a run.
I mean, it was convincing when they met in D.C. at Audi Field just about 2 months ago. It was 1 versus 2. There was so much hype surrounding that game in the middle of March. And it was Terps 23 and Who's 12.
At the end of the day, it's hard to beat a team twice. So you'd rather lose to them early and then see them in the NCAA matchup.
Another stop on McConvey against Morris. What do you think of Nunes? I mean, you saw him before he even arrived on the grounds in Charlottesville.
Yeah, out of Texas. Back when I coached at Torrey Pines, we used to play his team, the Woodlands, and Nunes was by far the best high school goalie I had ever seen. So I knew he was going to be I knew he was going to be special. I didn't know he was going to be a freshman starter at UVA, putting on the performance he did last night.
Yeah, our crew talked to Lars Tiffany in late April before their regular season finale, and they talked about with Matt Nunes that maybe there were a few games where he wasn't at his absolute best, the way he was in the first half of the season. But they were really excited about the layoff leading into last night and what that would afford them, just the time to work and to kind of reset like a golfer with some time, not before the final round of a major, but with time before the next major to get right.
Yeah, and he makes the saves he's supposed to make. But then when you watch him, he also makes those ones where you're like, wow, how did he grab that? And he's got a lot of confidence.
Another beauty of a goal there. And it's Daniel Kelly, the sophomore. And Nunes is special. It's going to be some kind of matchup next Sunday after Maryland has been in total control all day in College Park. Crowd on hand. We check out the upper half of the bracket. We've been talking about it. It is coming in Columbus a week from today. Maryland and Virginia, who has now won 9 straight NCAA tournament games.
If you're a betting man, what's the score of that game? What's the outcome for you?
The winner or the score?
The score. And the winner.
I mean, Maryland hung 20 in this one. We still have 5 minutes to go. And we saw how Virginia pulled away and ended up just getting a blowout over Brown down the stretch yesterday. I mean, it could be a lot. It could be a lot.
I'm most excited for that game of potentially anyone all year so far.
You see the series history. So close through the years between those two great programs. In the game for Virginia and Brown yesterday, it was 7-7 at halftime. It was 9-9 early in the third. And it ended up being an 8-0 run from there for the Hoos. Told you about Schellenberg with 8 points. Peyton Cormier had 5 goals. Matt Moore, another guy who hoped to get that hammy healthier, he had 2 and 2 also.
Yeah, you saw him kind of limping around throughout that game on that hamstring. Give him another week, though, to get healthy. He's a senior. He's going to battle through that throughout the whole tournament and keep showing up and giving you top 5 draft pick performances.
𝗍𝗍 was 20 of 31, so he'll get a crack in Weirman. The second meeting between these teams. You know, it's been interesting to hear the dialogue on the Maryland side of things, too, heading into that game against Virginia back in the middle of March, and then after it as well. And trying not to make more of it than it was in relation to last year's national championship. But you can say the right things. It just means more, a matchup between those two on the stage that they met last year.
Absolutely. I think of all the programs in the country, Tillman might do the best job of keeping the moment just down to earth, keeping it simple for his guys. I mean, they're undefeated this year. It's hard to go undefeated all the way through and then win the national championship. When we talked to him earlier this week, he said his guys don't even think about that.
I think Virginia, too, has been licking its chops for the last 2 months, too, thinking about the possibility of seeing the Terps again.
I'll tell you this, it's nice to be the hunter, it's hard to be the hunted, and Virginia is the hunter right now, so watch out.
Amazing to say that, too, when you're the reigning back-to-back national champions. Trying to make some history in what they have done and what lies in front of them. 2-time reigning champs. We haven't had a three-peat, of course, since Princeton in the late 90s. That goes wide of Morris. About 2.5 to go here in the fourth. And Maryland in possession, ahead by 15.
About this Vermont team right now. Obviously the games, it's out of reach for them at the end of the day, but what can you learn as a program down the stretch? What can you continue to do well so that you can watch the tape, grow, come back the next year and take another step as a program?
A group that brought back nearly everyone from last year's squad, and despite the slow start that we mentioned, still ended up at this point. Berg told us this week we're not scared of anyone coming in there, and there's been a big shift in culture over the last few years with what Chris Pipes has built. Maryland can run some clock here with 20 left on the shot clock toward the end of this possession. And Goforth gave it up. Syracuse has already got a goal in this one. Nice feed and finish. It's Goforth with his second of the season.
It's just a bright future yet again for Maryland. Syracuse, the party starter, showcasing his athleticism again on that change of direction right there. He's the one that draws the slide, gets everyone moving. They keep it hot. And then you have number 37, Daniel Maltz, who finds a cutter. Number 9, Gabe Goforth. All young guys from Maryland doing the exact same thing that the older guys do. Shocker.
Business as usual. Tommy Burke wins it, and Vermont possesses. If you're wondering, the most goals that Maryland has scored in school history in the NCAA tournament, it's 22. They did that against Navy in the national semifinals in 1976. Won that game 22-11. Morris, his outlet up ahead.
And this is a small thing. I think the difference between you look at a program like Maryland and a program like Vermont, those shots right there, that low angle shot compared to what they just earned down on that side, that's what it boils down to. If you want to take the next step as a program, you have to earn those types of opportunities and not settle for those low angles.
Coming up on the final 20 seconds here at College Park. Maryland 21, Vermont 5. And the Terps, yet again, are off to the quarterfinals where they will meet Virginia. It's a 16-goal margin, the biggest margin of victory for Maryland in tournament history. shattering what was done back in 1973. Utter dominance here today for the Terps.
We're really watching something special unfold here for the Terps this year.
𝗏𝗏s and Terps will be in Columbus a week from today. 21-5 the final, and hats off to Vermont. They have made history these last couple of seasons, and they ran into an angry buzzsaw that is on a mission here in this one.
A mission indeed.
Logan Wisnauskas is our player of the game, brought to you by Capital One. 4-2 for the 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏 Award Finals. So the series history, again, between these two heavyweight programs, and it was a 1-2 matchup a couple of months ago at Audi Field in D.C. And you think back to the national championship as well, and how thrilling that finish was. Anything close to that, and we'd be happy again.
Yeah, and these two teams have a lot of history. Maryland used to be in the ACC. They know each other well, and I think you're going to feel that on the field in terms of the compete level.
You got a very good Virginia defense, very good Maryland defense as well, even if those two ends of the field don't get as much notoriety and discussion as the offense and the fireworks and the stars do. But Schellenberger looked great yesterday for Virginia. Matt Moore as well. We know what his ability's like. Jeff Connor had some great moments, especially in April. He is an ultra-talented midfielder as well. And then the Maryland firepower and the depth of scoring and the transition scoring as well. What do you think? You asked me, score-wise, what we could be seeing in that one. What do you think?
I think it's going to be tight, but I have to give it to Maryland. I think that they're just so sound across the board that they're going to take advantage of every single mistake. It's hard. It really is.
Well, we'll have all week to look ahead. And right now, we will focus on the present with John Tillman. Coach, congratulations on the win and moving on to the quarterfinals yet again. You just talked with your team afterward, and for the veterans, you know, their last time getting to play here, well, what did you think of their performance and the way they set the tone?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we talked about in the huddle was, you know, for all the guys that, you know, this is their last game, I just want them to have that memory etched in their back of their head. So many guys, you know, that have done a great job here, and knowing this was the last one, it was great to send them out with a W. And then for all the guys that, you know, maybe you didn't get a chance to see today, we can only play so many with the NCAA rules, which is really hard. I get it, but we have so many kids that we wanted to get in, and they only let you play 32 players, and it just doesn't go very far. So I just wanted to tell those guys we appreciate them, we love them, and it wasn't a decision against them, and we just have to follow the rules. But you know, very selfless group, hardworking group, and every day we get is like gold. So to have another week with these guys is fantastic to be able to keep the journey going.
Coach, Jules here. You mentioned having another week. Looking forward to Maryland. How are you feeling going into that matchup now?
I mean, you look at Virginia, you know, arguably the most talented team out there, an amazing, you know, roster from top to bottom. You know, a team that has won the last two championships. So, you know, we're a bit of an underdog, I think, in our mentality, just because they have the title. So we've got to reach their level and show that we can beat them in the playoffs, which we haven't done. So we've got to have a great week of practice to try to be able to do that.
Coach, how do you frame the larger picture that folks like us talk about, where it's a national championship rematch, and same when it was 1-2 a couple of months ago? How do you as a coach approach that with your team heading into it?
It's just the same thing we do every week. You know, we try to be consistent with, you know, how our days are and the way we look at it. I think you just have to be careful of sending messages to your teams that this game's more important, this game's less important, because the kids are very smart. They're very perceptive. So when you start, like, doing things that are out of character, or you don't do maybe as much as last week, there's a sense of, well, wait a minute, why aren't we doing this, or why are we doing so much more? I think staying true to who you are, respecting everybody you play, having the same type of approach, you know, making sure we work our butt off. And then it's just, you know, you get to game day and just say, just be us, do what we've been doing. And again, it kind of goes back to the be the best mindset. every day you got to be your best as a person, as a student, and as a player. Our prep has to be our best each week. If not, you're not going to play anymore. You're going to be done. And this is such a great group. We want to keep this thing going.
And Coach, be the best. Right? You mentioned it. It's not just about on the field. It's off the field. It's the type of person you are. Obviously, the equality shirt you have on, the moment of silence before the game. Talk to me about the position you're in as a coach at a predominant program like Maryland, where you want to put yourself out there. You want to teach these guys about what it means to be the best on and off the field. Yeah,
the lacrosse team provides an opportunity to teach kids about life, and we go on a journey every year, and most guys get 4 journeys, but you're hopefully teaching them how to, navigate through life, the ups, the downs, what's going on in the real world right now. And there's a lot of things that, we expect our guys to be in tune with, be active with, be leaders in. And there's a lot of work to do. I love our country so much. There are so many great things, but there are areas that we can get better. And I think as a leader, certainly in a place like Maryland, at a place that we're so proud of our diversity here, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're doing our part to help people and make sure that people see the big picture and make sure that we're doing the right things. And equality is one of them. Social justice is another. It's important. Why? Because it's important to our school and it's important to our country.
John, last one for you, and then we'll let you run it. And thanks for your generosity, as always, with your time. Logan Wisnauskas, one of many players who was productive today, but he's done it his entire career. He's done it this season. He's a 𝗍𝗏𝗏 Award finalist. What makes him so effective in your mind?
I look at the way he was raised. He's got a great family. He's made of the right stuff. His approach is fantastic. I mean, we talk about be the best. I know what I'm getting every day from Logan, and so do his teammates. He's very focused. Every drill is important. Every 6-on-6 is important. He's taking care of his body. He's getting his rest. He understands, the film work. He's working his butt off in the weight room. He just got the Medal of Honor, and I think there are, roughly, 28, and I could be a little bit off on that, award winners. I think 2 from each school, 1 male, 1 female, and it's basically academics, obviously what you're doing in terms of off the field in the community, but also as a player. And when a guy wins that award, and there's roughly 9,800 student athletes in the Big Ten, and there's only roughly 28 winners, that says something that he's pretty darn special, because everything he does, again, goes back to being the best. I'm going to miss him when this thing is all over. I'm going to cherish every moment, because that guy, again, he's such a great role model for our younger guys.
Well, you know what? He's a great role model for the next generation as well, because as you chat, he's taking pictures with a bunch of youngsters. So we'll let you go on that note, Coach. Thank you very much, as always, for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Coach. Be well.
John Tillman, his Terps, a winner today, and he said it pretty well. Every day is like gold. Ain't that the truth? 6 points today for Logan Wisnauskas.
Yeah, and what just stands out to me most, kind of what Coach mentioned there, is he shows up every single day to practice. He cares about every 6-on-6 drill. He cares about every odd man drill. No matter what it is, he's giving his full focus, and that is why his job is so easy on game day.
He led the way for this Maryland outfit today that put up 21, and the largest margin of victory ever for a Maryland program in the NCAA tournament. All right, Keegan Khan is with us now. Keegan, hey, thanks for the time. Appreciate you stopping by. Your first NCAA tournament game in a Maryland uniform. How was it?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely exciting. Great crowd that showed up today. I think the fans were showing out all year. They really gave us a lot of energy today for the game. It was exciting to be out there.
Keegan, Jules Heningburg here. Great job today. As a Jersey guy, how does it feel to represent Jersey? I know you went to Villanova, and now you're at Maryland on the national stage. Just got drafted to the PLL as well.
Yeah, it's always exciting. Yeah, the opportunity to show out for the state today, and just trying to make the most of every game we got left.
Keegan, can you try to describe what it's been like being a part of this offense and why you guys are so efficient?
Oh, yeah, it's been a lot of fun showing up each day in practice. I think we're a pretty unselfish group. Just spin the ball and trying to get good looks, and I think it shows every single game. It's kind of how we go about our business.
And Keegan, one last question from me. The be the best mentality, walking in this locker room, coming from Villanova, what stands out to you most about the culture now that you've been in it for as long as you have been?
I think it's just from every single guy on the roster showing up ready to go today. You just got to give a lot of credit to our scout team, really getting us ready to play, and it's really just every single guy is just so committed to the success of the team.
All right, Keegan, we're going to spin it forward here. I say Virginia. You think what?
I don't know, we just got to get ready to play them again, and it's an exciting matchup, and looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. We all are. Thanks for the time here. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Good luck next week, buddy.
And the face-off star, Luke Weirman, is kind enough to join us. Luke, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on the win. First things first, you were going into a pretty heavyweight matchup with Tommy Burke. What do you think allowed for your success today?
All the credit to Tommy Burke. He's a great baseball specialist. I think just mostly, in the beginning of the game, he kind of got to the ball before me on the first, 3 or 4 face-offs, but I kind of just tried to stay in there, and my wings, all day, they did a great job just keeping the ball on the ground, getting second chance opportunities. I think that was the main reason for the success we had today.
Luke, Jules here. From last year to this year, what is the number one most important thing you did in the offseason, in the time that you had to get better, to come out and be as dominant as you have this year?
Yeah, I think it's just been my confidence really, and just taking all that trust that our team has in each other, and really just being confident in myself, and just working with the coaches and working with Michael Roach and Gavin Ty. I meet with Gavin a bunch in the summer, and I think it's just kind of put my head down and just trying to step into a role that that the team can rely on.
Well, it's been fun to watch, Luke, all season long, and will be the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, buddy.
Luke Weirman and the Maryland Terrapins winners, setting up a quarterfinal matchup that is bound to meet the expectations. And our entire crew behind the scenes. Mike Monaco saying so long. Plenty of lacrosse today. Games at 5 and 7:30 as well. So long from College Park.